Alright, it's about time we get this show on the road. As we are back for game number 2. I'm going to stop doing that right now because I feel like I'm about to start doing the Hearthstone voiced guy. He's like, Ilden versus Ulfer. Yeah, it was crap like that. Man, it's been a long time since I cracked out that game because I've been too busy with the Dota, baby. And you know who's ready with the Dota? Oh, it's Vikin. Do you know what they got?
Oh boy.
Oh no. So here's the thing. Right now, everyone's like, yo, Castor, why you drama? Why? There's reasons. Listen to me right now. We'll explain the reasons. I'll let Jay take over halfway because I'm sure he has plenty to say about this absurd hero. But I'm going to open up by saying Vikin especially have this banned against them constantly because they flex it as a tank, a damage dealer, a big initiator for huge combos of 2 or 3 different heroes. This team is it's definitely the team in this this competition, I'd say, that has presented the most flexibility with this hero.
Yeah, the Void is right now the premier carry and pretty much every single scene there is. And this hero just does so much. It combos well with those range ults, with those range hitters. It's a strong lane. It's a tanky hero. You can disrupt things with your time dilation. Incredibly tanky to kill. People have been starting to build Heaven's Halberd on that guy. And this Void, it's just a beast. The Bash is also BKB piercing. This guy just offers a lot. Like, pretty much everything in the game, he offers.
And this is brave. This is brave by Vikin, though, right? To whip out... Oh, sorry. Well, for mudgolems to allow him to have the IO. As we know how good they are with this IO that has been ban-worthy for every goddamn team. I guess for mudgolems, there is an argument that if you prove you can beat the IO here, then it suddenly puts a giant hole in Vikin's game plan. Because whenever you do allow the IO through, they have picked it almost every single game.
Yeah, exactly. If you beat the IO here, you showed that you can beat it and that you don't have to bend anymore. But Void IO is disgusting. As we already said, the Void is a pretty hard hero to kill. You got to perma-stun him, or he will time walk, or perma-stun or silence, or he will time walk that damage off. He'll walk it off. He'll come out with almost full HP again. So yeah, this IO, he can take the burst out, he can supplement him, heal him up, relocate him out, and makes this Faceless Void insanely hard to kill with the IO behind it. And Viking, they are a team that played with IO, and the IO also offers a lot of offensive potential because the Void is super good with attack speed, and the IO offers a lot of attack speed with the overcharge. So yeah, I like that combo, global pick-off potential, and Snap for a Beastmaster, to be frank, isn't the lane that really beats Void IO in my opinion.
No, but Beastmaster's the start of a combo, right? This is something that's been a big highlight in this tournament is the Faceless Void versus the Beastmaster matchup and how you slot in different supports and what it changes. Usually, we see the Void and the Snapfire beats the crap out of the Beastmaster. But in this laning combo, you're talking about a Faceless Void and IO where the slows affecting one hero is going to affect both impact around the lane. And there might be potential to burst and kill off the Void as the lane proceeds.
It could be a possibility. Eventually, Beastmaster will get ult, and ult plus cookie plus the Q from the Snapfire can kill a Void off. It is possible, but still, this hero is pretty tanky with power treads, even with a strength talent, with an IO behind him that can heal him up. It is a delicate thing, because if you fail the combo, if you don't really land every single spell perfectly, he will time walk, he will regain that health, and you will have every spell on cooldown. And what can Void do? Well, he can put those spells on an extra long cooldown. They will recover a lot more slower, and so far, I like what Viking does. Last game, they crushed. This game, good opener. Man, mudgolems, they must be feeling pressured right now.
I will say this: it's likely that the Snapfire isn't going to be the beast, though. Let's keep in mind, like this is Far's hero. Okay, he's kind of like I said in the previous series. You look on the back of this hero; it's got owned by Farder on the back of the dragon.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That is true. They probably won't lane together, but still, these heroes match up pretty well together. Let's see what happens. Rubik banned already. Viking, they respect that hero a lot. Also banned the Spectre and the AM. I think Spectre, AM, Lifestealer are those three carries that can actually match up pretty well against Faceless Void. But they're all out. Let's see what mudgolems pick. And Skeeter, he hasn't been really showing the other heroes because he has been playing AM 2 times already and Lifestealer so often already. So let's see what Skeeter does if he's not on the Lifestealer.
What I would like to see from mudgolems is some sort of buffer slash save type hero, something like along the lines of probably not an Omni Knight, but that category of hero, so that they can open up the draft flexibility around the mid to things like DP, Leshrac, because these heroes are quite effective against Faceless Void when coupled with some sort of save.
Exactly. These heroes are able to deal damage even though they are chronoed. If the DP gets the Exorcism out, if the Leshrac activates its Edict, his ult, they can deal damage in the chrono, and that's an issue for Faceless Void.
Right now, mudgolems probably likely we're going to see their support to open this second phase, and Willow not a bad choice. That's another way to disengage these chronos at least early on. Also
Yeah.
gives you some solo kill potential if I can especially go for these more squishy heroes with the rest of their draft.
Exactly. Also, pretty good pairing with the Beastmaster. That's a strong lane. You can punish Void IO with it. And another thing, you hear the relocate, you can terrorize on that, and that's a pretty good counterplay. So Dark Willow able to counter that relocate. Super, super good. Let's see what Milan does in that hero.
I wouldn't mind seeing them have some sort of combo with the Terrorize in mind. Like, speaking of those kind of heroes that can frustrate the fights, possibly we see someone to round this out if it looks good as we get to the final pick for mudgolems along the lines of a puck. So you have those type of combos with the Willow as well. A hero that we have been seeing sparingly, but especially if you get a good lane matchup, say for example, Vikin were to go for something like a Void Spirit or a Storm Spirit or even an Ember
Or Queen of
Spirit.
Pain.
Yep.
Yeah, even Queen of Pain. Yeah.
We know Boom
That,
used to love that hero. He hasn't played it as much since they screwed around with Blade Mail, right? Like he was the person
yeah.
who set the trend with that, and then it got nerfed into the ground as being just an amazing item for any hero. And now
Yeah.
Blade Mail seems to have fallen out of favor for that hero.
Yeah, that is true. But I like the puck a lot for mudgolems as well. It pairs well with the Sapphire, with the Dark Willow. Might be a possibility. It's also very good against Void, because the Void cannot time walk when he's silenced or rooted by the egg, by the ult from Puck. There's the Jakiro though for Viking. Oh my god, is it for IO or for Jakiro?
This could be a free Jakira actually.
Oh my god, that's too crazy in my opinion. That's too
I've
crazy.
seen some teams do 3 and 2 recently. Like people have been dipping back into it. I prefer it in the 3 just because when you run it as a 2, there's a lot more pressure on you to win your lane, and if you don't, then you're literally nothing. Whereas in 3, as long as you have a bit more greedy of a 4, there's always someone that can pick up the slack. So I think 5 men were doing this. They were actually running Seabay on a Jakira, and you just get your early items, and you just become a typical Jakira.
Yeah. I mean, Jakiro, he pairs well with the Void. He deals with the Beastmaster Zul.
Okay, so it should be a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Underlord on 3, 4 Jakiro, 5 IO. I mean, maybe they're switching around IO Jakiro, but Celery is playing IO in like 90% of the games, right?
I just don't see Aramis playing IO. It's a
Yeah.
celery special, right? Like when you have a hero that proficient, the only thing that changes isn't the player playing it; it's the farm distribution.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's 5 IO, 4 Jakiro, mid laner still missing. Interested to see where the Nature's Prophet from Mudgolems is gonna go. I think Skeeter can play it, but Borania has also shown that he can take over a game on his own. Yesterday against Khan, that was a huge, huge, huge display of power. Let's see if he can do it again.
Yeah, looking at the prioritization of bans, I'm assuming Mudgolems are leaving the Skitters hero to last, right? Because you're not as
Yeah.
pressured as last game where we looked to it and went, well, there's only really TB left, and then they decided there was something worse that they could pick than any of our minds could comprehend in the anti-mage.
Yeah. Joe being banned as well. So a lot of carries are out there. Sven out, Joe out, AM, Lifestealer, Spectre out. Not many carries remaining here.
I'm trying to think like what or Viking need to fill the lineup with. I mean, something along the lines of a Void Spirit doesn't feel as free in this game to operate. Maybe just something kind of stable in the mid lane, actually, for Boom. Whether it's something along the lines of the Tiny, which is still available, or something bulky like the DKs, but we don't really see that much at the moment.
I think they kind of need some kind of damage because so
That's
far
what I was thinking. Tiny, right?
yeah, he deals burst damage. He can kill people because right now Void, Io, Jakiro, Underlord, they are lacking damage a bit. Outside of the Chrono, they can't really kill heroes that well until the mid game, the late game.
That's always the worrisome part. That's why usually we see these complementary combos that aren't forced, right? That's why the Faceless Void plus the Snapfire has been so potent in recent series, is because they synergize on the lane, they combo well Chrono after the lane, and can still act independently of each other. They're not reliant upon one another.
Yeah, and a lot of reserve time being used here by Viking on their last pick. Tiny, it is perfectly called once again, and I like that here a lot. Solid laning against Nature's Prophet, or the hero that's gonna come. A lot of burst damage, they're lacking that right now. Late game scaling is there as well. I like it. Also a Boom special. I have missed it in the last series. Now we see it, and I'm prepared for an epic performance.
And then when I'm looking at mudgolems, I think it's Skiz hero that has to come, and then you're looking at that Faceless Void matchup with the Spectre already removed. That probably would have been the ideal one for mudgolems, given the global presence at that point. I mean, luckily for them, at least in this game, Viking banned out the AM, so they can't trip themselves over too hard. Hardish. I mean, this is a hero we actually did discuss off mic and what is making him weak right now. One thing I will say in this game is when I've talked to captains on teams before and why they like Wraith King whenever it's actually been popular, their statement has very simply been, and it sounds so trivial when you actually hear it out loud, but it is true. If I think my carry is going to die, I give him Wraith King. And when you look at the team fight of Viking and the burst potential of the Chronos, this is potentially a game where Wraith King could be good.
It'd be good, but right now I kind of fear for mudgolems again. I feel like Viking have the upper hand once again. The problem with the Wraith King is your skeletons fade damage to Underlord. You don't really lane well versus Underlord because Underlord has comparable damage, but he's got a lot more armor than you. So this Underlord will have a good time against the Wraith King. Jakiro also a very good hero against Wraith King because the attack speed slow is so heavy for Wraith King. His attack speed is super low unless he really gets some items going. And well, as we all know, attack speed slow is better the lower the attack speed is. And the attack speed of Wraith King is low. Jakiro slows it even further, and I don't see this Wraith King doing that much against the Jakiro Underlord lane, which is really, really brutal. So far, I kind of give the second game to Viking.
All right, hear me out.
All
this
right.
is better than the anti-mage.
Oh, well, actually sold, yeah. It's actually a hero that can play the game. That is actually true, yeah.
You know, I would even say if this hero also built a Mask of Madness, he would do a lot more than the anti-mage. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of see it, but the Void is actually not that terrible against Wraith King. Many people see Void and Wraith King and are like, oh yeah, easy. He can just use the ult and survive, like respawn after the Chrono. But the Faceless Void matches up pretty well against the Wraith King, even outside of the Chronosphere, just because of his bash. Like the bash is super good against Wraith King. So the Void is able to fight the Wraith King easily outside of the Chrono as well. And that's when that concept breaks down. Like, yeah, you can survive through the Chrono, but what happens after? Can you actually fight the Void? And it depends on farm, of course, but if there's similar farm going on, the Void out battles the Wraith King. So
that's the number one. The crux is right. Is it the way this will work? Is Chrono will happen. Reincarnate gets popped. Then you're probably going for outstun, and then Void has this very fun skill for him at least called time dilation. You're always guaranteed at that point to be looking at least 10% slow on you. And in conjunction with those bashes you were talking about, like the ability to kite is just gone at that stage for Skidder.
Yeah, exactly. And faces Void. He's got the attack speed slow. Jakiro got the attack speed slow. And there's so much attack speed slow going on that Wraith King, like, he deals not that much damage if his attack speed is slowed, because this hero doesn't get attack speed. Bar some.
Okay, hear me out. I think I figured it out. We're being told that Skitter has 3 heroes he needs to harvest this game.
Oh.
So maybe he just wanted to make some progress on that sweet looking old Skelly King.
Maybe. I mean, it's a BO5 after all. You can give away 2 games. No issue at all.
That's true. This is all part of the plan. This is the reverse sweep strategy for mudgolems.
Let's see. What I mean, we're down talking the mudgolems lineup a lot. Like, they also have a lot of options. Beastmaster, of course, offers a lot of attack speed. Beastmaster plus Wraith King, I like that. It's auras. You got the lifesteal aura, you got the attack speed aura. You can run at things, and the Nature's Prophet, once again, has a pretty good game. This Nature's Prophet will not be pressured by the Tiny, so he'll have a good game, and he can rotate so damn well. We saw it yesterday. This Nature's Prophet against Khan in game 1, I think it was, absolutely destroyed every lane, mid lane, top lane, bottom lane. Let's see if he can do this again. And I think after that performance yesterday, Borania can actually win this game kind of, I wouldn't say alone, but he can have a huge impact.
He can most definitely deliver. And that's the thing, right? Like when you compare the Tiny, I think there might have been a Tiny in that game, or it was a similar hero where the notion is you can rotate, but the amount of time it takes you to do so is painful in comparison to a Nature's Prophet that shows up, yoinks a kill, TP's back to lane, and then notices you've gone to gank yourself, so he starts hitting your tower.
Exactly. He's like so mobile, and Tiny, of course, he can also gang, but Nature's Prophet, after all, is the king of ganging. He has got the ult, he doesn't even need to TP, and he's got the TP, so he's got 2 tools to just instantly pressure those side lanes out of the mid lane, and that's the power of that hero.
By the way, really well read by Vikin here. We know that mudgolems like to make this move, usually into this area of the map or the ancient area for Dire, which is why you can already see that Vikin's heroes are holding on the outer lanes, making sure that they don't expose themselves to a 4-man gank.
Exactly. Smart. That's what analyzing the enemies does. If you look up the enemies' games, see their moves, see their patterns, you can prepare for something like this and not get caught off guard. And that's a wonderful thing from Viking, because they had to prepare for NIP as well. Today wasn't like full preparation for mudgolems. They had to prepare for NIP first, and then they were preparing for mudgolems. Often overlooked. If you come from the lower bracket, preparation is a lot harder. Yes, mudgolems also has to prepare for 2 teams, but they see the teams playing just before the grand final, and they also see which team is winning, so they kind of know, all right, these Viking boys seem to be winning, let's prepare for them. While the Viking boys, they actually got to win their series first.
Yeah, and of course the other side of it is they've got a coach, right? Morphe. Wouldn't be surprised if he was standing behind them, waiting to see if they move across and just ready to beat them with a stick the moment they come close to those runes. Like, no, you wait until 10, 15 seconds before then you approach the runes. That's when the Wraith King has to run back to the bot lane. We'll see what Wraith King's going to do. First wave, not too bad, but Baranya, you mentioned him in that mid lane already, off to a pretty noticeable start.
7-2. I mean, there's a lot of creeps. Still not killed by Boom yet, but still 8-2 versus 4-0.
That's effectively 3-4 denies, actually, because he kept getting them low with the trees, so that even though he wasn't denying them, Boom was unable to finish them off.
Good play, and this guy on Nice Prophet. Whew, it's disgusting performance.
Have to see how it progresses. So far, Milan's actually been trading with Celery recently well. Celery did go for a more defensive starting item in this game. We're actually used to quite often seeing Bracer on his IOs, but he's decided that the headdress is more crucial in this lane due to the pressure of a Willow and a Beastmaster.
Yeah, there have been kind of 2 different ways of playing that hero in the last 1 to 2 weeks. There has been the overcharged Bracer playstyle, and there has been the Headress playstyle. And Puppy, here a player that hasn't really played IO. Oh, bottom, Aramis.
In trouble. Cookie forward, connects onto the second target as well, ensuring Toby can't even hit back into Skidder.
Easy lane, that probably shouldn't have happened. Well played by the mudgolems. I think that lane should go in favor of Viking, but the mudgolems are able to play this perfectly well. But let me talk about that IO thing here once again. Puppy, one of the strongest players in Dota for a long time, recently learned how to play IO. He hasn't played IO a lot in the past, but recently he has acquired the skill of being able to play IO. He spammed like 30 or 40 games, and he also has tried both. He tried the Bracer build, he tried the Headrest build, and Puppy, the Dota god himself, is mostly going for Headrest right now. So I think that currently the IO meta is you go for the Headrest. The Bracer was a nice experiment with the overcharge level 1, but people have just been starting to get the Headrest and get Tether level 1.
Yeah, because the issue is that a lot of the fours right now, they bring in maybe enough regen or the heroes that actually have somewhere to sustain themselves, and that's the issue with the overcharge. And speaking of issues, this is the way that Vikin losses begin, is when Toby doesn't have a good lane, they start to feel the pain. And that's definitely the case here. Is that's now 2 deaths in this bot lane, and that Wraith King we were worried about is off to a good start.
Yeah, I feel like the mudgolems are just playing it better. I feel like they are just outskilling Toby and Aramis, because this lane, Underlord plus Jakiro, that's, in my opinion, an impenetrable lane by Wraith King plus Snapper, but I guess Fata is just so damn good on this hero, and look at their XP. They're almost up to level 4, and that's like huge nukes from Snapfire. Cookie 140, Scatterblast 150, increased by 50%, which is like over 200 magic damage. Like, their damage is insane. Rune's coming out. Aramis trying to get bot rune. But it's
Oh, it's
spawning
gonna be
top.
top. Gaben wishes Boom good luck in that mid lane, but Aramis, he'll need some luck to get out of this one, or some big brain skills, but Aramis being ran down will die.
Woo!
Boom needs to be careful about this. He's looking for a toss across, but they're just not in range.
And P can't TP out. He can't TP out because Boom is on his tails chasing him.
Well, he'll have the Sprout sooner than the Avalanche is going to be available, so Boom shouldn't be able to find this one, but the illusion blocks, maybe Orang is in trouble.
Oh goodness.
Toss,
Oh goodness.
he's gone. Whoopsie.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think Nature could have just started TPing out, then
Force the
Boom,
toss, right?
exactly, force the toss, and then he could just TP out once again, because teleportation doesn't go on cooldown. I think if he just instantly tries to teleport out, it is possible for him to live there, but well, didn't do it, got punished, and boom, off to a good start. Going to the bottom lane, Underlord, top net worth, by the way. Yeah, the kills happened, but still, top net worth. That's how I expected the lane to happen. Like, yeah, they got killed. I think that those were simply good plays by the mudgolems, but in the end, the Underlord is still free farming.
Yeah, the hero's going to inherently get creeps. It's just kind of the nature of this hero. But it's just the case they can keep up this aggression. 'Cause, the reality is, with Snapfire, it makes a lot of sense, right? Any hero that gets up an inherent value out of like one big hit, say you cookie and you get a crit, right? That's why we're probably seeing a lack of ability for Aramis to contest them. It's because Jakiro's weakness is the moment you're on top of him. It's that type of hero. Once you overwhelm him, he just falls to pieces.
Yeah, his armor isn't too great, only 3 armor, so he can actually die pretty easily. His raw HP is high, but his armor isn't too high, and well, one of those crits destroys him.
Well, you saw Boom lurking around with the runes. Makes it back in time to actually get an arcane rune as well. So this is all going the way of Boom so far.
Yep. And Boom, been having a good time. Like, Slade struggles on the first 1-2 waves, but right now he's sitting.
Aramis, it's gone. No escape from that. The damage through the Wrath of Nature didn't hit Skidder. It stopped short.
Woo. Nature's Prophet even, he was TPing, he was ready to pounce, but he saw, oh, my ult doesn't connect to the Underlord. Well, I guess I'm staying mid.
Exactly. Like, it's still a feasible kill into Toby, right? Like, it is 3 points in Atrophy Aura, but you mentioned that Scatter Blast especially. So much magical damage that you could kill. It's just scared. Now that you've got this momentum, there's no point overextending and risking dying in this lane.
Yeah. And very interesting skill build by Underlord. He is choosing to go 2-0-3. That's a build I haven't seen a lot. I kind of like it against the Wraith King in lane, but still wondering how he's going to follow up on this. Is he going to max out the aura and skip Firestorm? I'm not too sure. Well, Skeeter's getting partial. Holy.
Oh, yep, Skid's low. They'll make the trade again. They do have the reincarnate, so Toby's not able to find true vengeance. Boom.
Yeah.
He did come down here as well. He TP'd down to this lane with the arcane rune, so he's going to hunt him for a kill. And Baranya should ping this out very quickly, as it should be obvious that there is no Tiny in the mid lane.
Yeah. Pretty
Especially
mobile.
with this vision.
Exactly. Vision looking pretty good. They even saw the Arcane Rune being picked up, so they know that Tiny wants to get a pick off. But talking about this bottom engagement, yeah, they got Aramis, but the Wraith King ult is a huge cooldown. It's still 170 seconds, and in these 170 seconds, he can't really contest the lane anymore because he will die pretty easily. 4 armor still only. Rushing the Midas, he's not too tanky, and Toby sitting tightly on that lane, 3.4k net worth, looking really good, going for 303.
Runes for once will not go the way of Tiny, by the way. Both supports from mudgolems coming to the mid lane. It's not really a lane that they can gank, though, because of the vision game that's going out here from both sides around this mid. You can see how much priority is being placed on this lane from both sides of the river.
Yeah, these runes are just insanely important. Nature's Prophet doesn't really need the runes. One of those heroes that don't really need the runes, but Tiny is a hero that deals so much damage or applies so much pressure with these runes. Like a DD rune, insane. Haste rune, insane. Like Arcane rune, insane. Like Tiny, he really values those runes, and it's important for mudgolems to deny those runes, those haste runes from the Tiny.
Exactly. That's usually what it comes down to so much in the mid. That's why there's been more and more priority of the supports rotating for that minute 4 rune. As it can usually pretty convincingly decide the outcome of the mid lane one way or the other.
Exactly. Tiny without runes has a hard time pressuring side lanes. But when we're talking about a Tiny with a DD, with a haste, with a DD, with a regen, with an invis even, like there are so many good runes on this hero. He can just make these pickoffs happen, and he can even kill +1 heroes pretty easily.
So far, the kill in the net worth is definitely still in Toby's favor, though. He's staying ahead of everyone here. And Wraith King's trying to supplement his goal a little bit. He's almost got the Midas, so that's when he can move ahead. But speaking of that Underlord, Toby has moved top, anticipating the 33 with the Helmet Dominant, and with this Roar wants to push in. But there's the Chrono, the Fast Storm follow-up as well. But the kisses are coming through. Shad needs to retreat due to the Cursed Ground. Chrono Roar thrown out, 33, still tanking all this damage. And with the Wrath of Nature, they find the kill. Chase them forward. Baranya arrives to try and clean up Celery as well, and the damage is too high. Moving across, trying for the counterattack. But Fada catches them all with a cookie, follows through with a Scatter Blast to get the kill onto Ios. A 2-for-2 exchange as everyone but Skidder is partying in the top lane. And Milan, Bramble Maze trying to move away with the Cursed Crown as well to at least pick up the rune before he dies. He has got the Shadow Realm, and he does get the rune, but he will die.
He can TP out?
Nope. Nope, he can't. He thinks Jakiro has leveled Ice Path because Aramis has gone for a very unusual build. We always see Ice Path these days with maybe 1 point early in Liquid Fire.
Exactly. Like, he was 100% sure that either Toby has the pit or the Jakiro has the Ice Path, but neither was skilled. He could have just WTP'd, but well, that would have been such a gamble out of his position that it wouldn't really have been worth it, but he would have gotten away with this in this.
Yeah, and you can maybe forgive mudgolems for not communicating that there's been a prioritization of Liquid Fire, right? Because if anyone on mudgolems should understand what sort of level of attack slow has been applied by Jakiro, it's Fada. But in fairness to him, Snapfire has been mainly just spamming spells, not as much of the right click, shall we say.
Exactly.
And it is very unusual. I mean, I think most Jakiro players have accepted that 1 point Liquid Fire is your cap point. Maybe very effective against the Wraith King, but, you know, overall, the Ice Bar value is way too high. Yeah.
It's, I see 202 sometimes. I'd say it's pretty common.
Void?
I mean,
he's stunned up. He's dead. That was the Macro Power as well. And the Kisses, they're going to try and kill off Aramis. And Fada, he got way too greedy. He's going to die for it as they force the rotation out. Boom. Maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself there. It was a good move, but the Kisses now not available. The Chrono is going to be up, however, in 30 seconds. And that's space.
This Boran in mid lane, talking about him. He's being gone on.
They're trying. Bringing an eye around. That reload will allow him to get on top of Baranya. He's very tanky now. He just tries to get the tower. And he does. So at least his death isn't for nothing, because meanwhile on the top, 33 has been pressuring here as well. So that should be another tier 1 falling in favor of Mudgolems.
This map pressure is too damn high, and this Nature's Prophet, man, he's playing out of his mind again. Like I don't know how he does it, but his ults always seem to be like at the end of their bounces and then hitting the void, just executing him. Like first time, I think it was 460 damage or something. Now it was 400 damage. Somehow he's able to just get that ulti at the tail end into the void, just bursting him. And I mean, 400 damage. That's like 40% HP from the void. His ults have just been insane. I don't know if you can actually influence them, because to me the Nate's Prophet ults always seem kind of random if they hit the enemy's heroes or not. But right now, like, this void has been destroyed by 2 ults already from him.
There's 2 options, right? It's either a case of your team have to play their vision logically and also play their position logically so you're not wasting bounces, or you have to be tracking the entire map.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do that. Like, you can kind of go, oh yeah, but you know when creep waves are going to approach creep waves. You have to quickly glance where your wards are. You have to glance where the lanes are pushed up to, what vision your heroes are given. Think about where they're going to get vision in the next few seconds. And this is the kind of reward you get when you put that F in. You get the level reward where people are like, why is this spell so strong? Why has it not been nerfed? Please stop pick and profit my games and destroying me every fight.
Yeah, it's a global Finger of Death.
Mm-hmm.
To be quite frank, Finger of Death is 450 damage through magic resistance. You know,
it's the Zeus effect, right? On a hero that can then show up after the Zeus effect.
Exactly. It's the Zeus effect, but with the damage of a Finger of Death. That's absolutely ridiculous on a hero that is not a post 5 Lion. It's a post 2 Nature's Prophet. He has his ult a minute. Ooh.
This is greedy. Only hits one with a cookie, and now he's the one being greedy. The stun's going to come out, the chrono's going to go down, and actually 33 runs into it. Father is going to die. The Skidder stands his ground. He's got the reincarnate again. He'd rather not give over like this. The Primal Roar gets thrown out to Ayers. They know that the other one, that's the one they need to deal with now. Celery able to move away, though. They didn't anticipate this. And boom! Oh my god, Boom's dying to Milan. That's a solo pick-off on a mid for a boss 4.
How did that happen? He didn't use Toss, he didn't use Avalanche. How did that happen? I was focusing on bot lane, but somehow, oh my god.
Terrorize Bedlam, baby. Never underestimate a level 6 Dark Willow here.
Smokes, the ult did 800 magic damage. I'm talking about Finger of Death. Bedlam, also pretty good spell. Pretty good.
Huh? So everyone's just got their own little Finger of Death there, you know? There's the combo of Snapfire's Cookie plus Scatter Blast. Skitter's like, yo, if I just crit them once or twice, I mean, that's as good as a Finger anyway.
It is, it is. And mudgolem is defending their bottom tower.
They were
bringing pretty much everyone. I mean, Borania, he can also come.
I mean, I don't know if they were expecting that to be just a Hawk. The way they were kind of running that Tether through, it's almost like they were expecting a hero with an Invis rune as well there in the bot lane. That does spot out any attempt to like hang here and kind of bait mudgolems into killing themselves. So you already see they break off and go back to their lanes.
Yeah. 33 on a Beastmaster. Going for the Solar Crest, that's a pretty sweet item to bolster the Wraith King, because as we said in the draft, Wraith King, one of those heroes that doesn't usually have that high of an attack speed. But with the Beastmaster aura, with the Solar Crest, his attack speed will be increased significantly, and he'll be able to actually, well, fight heroes.
And this is something that I've been theorizing. If you want to run the Wraith King, we were discussing this as well earlier, is this whole idea of the Gloves of Haste, how many you can get away with, right? And Skidder, when it comes to Wraith King, Boots choice is actually, it's a flavor type thing. Some like phase, some like treads, and if you broke down the statistics, it's almost always the same. Skidder is a phase boots builder, but he's justifying this armlet even though you're up against a lot of dot damage.
It's the sustain coming out, I think.
Boom.
Vlad.
Stand up. There's the Bedlam again. Ice Path to save the day, though, and they're bringing everyone in to counterattack this. Baranya will be able to get away, but man, won't. Terrorize doesn't go off. However, the amount of tension you draw here makes it worthwhile. 33 arrives, says, what the hell's Toby doing here? Kisses come out with the Primal Roar. The counterattack occurs. Just as much invested by each side, but more gained from Mudgolems.
Yeah, they got the Toby. And Toby, he was the boss, you gotta admit. 5-6 minutes ago, he was top net worth. Right now, slipped down. Only top 4 now. And whoa, boom. Also looking at him, also not the greatest game. Look at Borania, look at Skeeter. These guys, they have been gaining. They have only been gaining. And the lead is slightly, or well, not that slightly, but just it's going the way of Mudgolems.
Got more nuts all moving on to 33. Terrorized to try and defend him. Beautifully done. Catches on to both of them. Now the Sprout turn around the stance out of Celery. Needs to get away from his teammate due to the Cursed Crown, which means he's surrendering his life. Boom gets into the tree line and TPs away. But Aramis is being chased. Milan has the Brown Mace in a few seconds, but Baranya arrives with a TP to ensure they get the Jakiro. And on the side... Oh, hold up. Toby. Fada just found him. He's trying for the body blocks, but the phase boost means it's not easy. Now, Avalanche Toss reinitiation is going to backfire for them quickly. He's too tanky. They can't bring down Fada. Boom's about to be hit by the Cursed Crown. Fada min-maxes his HP. And no, the Cursed Crown! The Chrono's going to be wasted. The buyback's going to come up for the Jakiro way too late. Boom is retreating. And Milan will be able to get away as well. Ice Bath is there. Firestorm Macropie as well. Fada is still alive. And they just run away scot-free. No risk. No kill for Vikin.
Huge plays by mudgolems. They're baiting out pretty much every single spell, and the Chrono gets wasted because the perfect spell usage by mudgolems just totally diffused that situations. And look at Snapfire. What were we talking about? The casual cloak, the casual gauntlets of strength. He's just able to live through that tiny combo. That's a huge thing on supports. If you can live through the tiny combo, you are a god, kind of, because that's what Tiny thrives in. He wants to kill the supports, snowballing on the map, but as long as this hero doesn't snowball, doesn't get those easy support kills, he kind of falls off, eventually.
Yeah, and we saw him min-max as well, right? Those Scatter Blast slows, that's why that is so awkward for Vikin to disengage. That's the problem. That's where Dark Willow can be strongest, is when you force them into these funneled areas and there's all these slows. There's always evasive elements, such as, you know, you're throwing down the sprouts. You've got the slows coming out from the Scatter Blast and the kisses. It makes it almost impossible to split from these Cursed Crowns, and that's what we saw there. And now we might see Toby die if he's not careful. Cursed Crown, but it's too obvious. Because he stands there, they know for a fact there is at least 2 to 3 heroes behind him. And they'll throw down the macro path, but they've already moved out of the pit. And you can't complete this yourself, so now Vikin have no macro power. And they know this due to the bird on the high ground.
Exactly. And another interesting thing about Aramis' item build here is he's going max liquid fire. He's like, boys, the summons from Wraith King, Nature's Prophet, and Beastmaster, I gotta slow that attack speed. I gotta slow the attack speed of the Wraith King. I don't want to max the Ice Path. Oh, Toby. Well, he's getting out. No problem
he'll make his escape, but wherever he goes, he's going to be stuck now. That's what they know. So we'll TP out to a lane, and then that'll let them know whether they can move back towards that Roche, or they just need to keep farming. And right now, they're keeping that 4K net worth lead. The only person keeping up with them, really, on the side of Vikin is Shad.
Yeah, with his Midas, of course, farming pretty sweet. But the problem is, his damage isn't quite there yet. It's a mom into a BKB. That's not too threatening to the heroes of mudgolems. We talked about the Wraith King not being able to fight a Void, but look at the Wraith King, man. He's a boss. He's got 1k up on that Face's Void, and even his levels are looking better. And he's got the supplementary aspect of the Beastmaster, of the Inner Beast, of the Solar Crest. So this Wraith King are looking like a total boss right now, compared to that Void who's like,
alright,
I don't know.
They got Milan at least. That's something. Ice Path was just about there from Aramis. But you're right? The thing about Wraith King is I think you have to look at him a lot the way you look at a Lone Druid, right? This hero that can get away with these very aggressive items doesn't really necessarily have to worry about the defensive aspect of his hero. And if you are reacting to those items, like they're being forced to because of the other elements on the side of mudgolems, as Shad is with this BKB, that means you're never getting to a stage where you really counter the Wraith King. Instead, Wraith King just kills you, as he's doing to Aramis right now, who has no mana and no hope in hell of getting away from this.
Yeah, finishing the Shadow Blade now, being able to engage on the favorable targets. He's like, alright boys, I don't care what you do, I'm gonna jump into the backline with the Invis, jump the IO, jump the Jakiro, and just burst those people. And if he's on top of them, they can't really do anything to him.
Now, it should be pointed out that Silver Age scales really well later on in the game. Underlord, one of the big things this hero does well is he forces carries to build BKBs. But if you can just break him and burst him in a few seconds, which is usually quite feasible against Underlords in those late game scenarios, then BKB never really feels needed for Skidder.
Yeah, and that's a great place to be. Look who wants BKB though. Oh, it's Borania. Look at this guy. Oh, what does he have? Orchid, BKB, Treads. Minute 20. Huh. That's quite a lot of items, if you ask me. Now, 4-man smoke coming out. It's basically a 5-man smoke because Borania, he can always come globally.
They're trying to zone around here, get some vision down and set up for the Rosh. You can already see the TPs coming in from Jakiro. He needs to stay far back. And they might just go into the pit now that they've set up the vision. Baranya hits this pretty hard, and with the assist of the Skitter, this will not take long. I think you're too split as Vikin right now.
The lifesteal also ensures them not losing any HP. Look at Skeeter, he's 99 to 100%.
This smoke is... It might be too late. It's going to be incredibly close, but I think they're too late again. Yep, that big crit straight away, and that ends up for them. They're trying to go into Fada, but he's still too tanky. The Chrono's going to go down to 2. They catch him on the Dark Willow. They're ignoring Skip for the time being, but Fada able to move away with the cookie. They're trying to chase under him. They do bring down the Willow. Now they need to get rid of the other support. They're able to kill off Fada. Skitter's going to be brought down. Primal Roar, though. Io's eliminating the fight. Buyback will come out from both the post fires on each side. Ice Path goes down, but it's a whiff. It's off the mark. Skitter chased on 2 next. They're trying to get through that second life, and they might be able to. I'm not told to try and stay alive. The kisses, they're stacking on top of them. A lot of damage done. Io's going to be brought down for the second time. That's his dieback. Baranya, way too tanky. Still has that Aegis. Sans is going to come out to boom now as well, who's surrounded on all sides, nowhere to run or hide, is brought down 33, trying to retreat away from Shad, and Shad just wants to fight, but Toby's like, no, we need to get out of here now before we hemorrhage more kills.
Messy fight. In the end, not too shabby for the Viking boys. They got the Wraith King 2 times, they got the Willow, but they lost 3 heroes, and one of those 2 heroes died 2 times, the Io.
Who's so crucial in their draft. You compare it to Fada. The damage is nice, but it's not critical to keeping your carry alive. And here's the important thing to keep in mind. The damage from those kisses, that was still level 1 kisses. If you take a fight that ends up getting scrappy like that again, now that the side of mudgolems have the level 2 more kisses, you're going to lose 1 or 2 additional heroes.
Exactly. But damage is, well, it's scaling up 50%, so the damage is there. And Void, he went for a defensive item in the last fight, Midas and BKB, but he didn't even have to pop the BKB because the focus of mudgolems was so good that they focused on the heroes they deemed important to kill. And because of that, the Void didn't even have to pop the BKB, which in turn is also pretty good for the Void because, well, he still got the 10-second BKB ready. And his Assault Curse is also coming in.
But here's the downside. Use the Chrono, and that means instantly mudgolems can look to get aggressive. Look at the move by Baranya, pretty deep. Silence comes out into Io, trying to eliminate him quickly, but now he's in trouble. He's a little bit too deep here. Baranya brought low. Has got that Aegis still to work with, though, and Celery is being melted through here. He might just tick out before he can make his escape. There's the BKB on the Prophet. Doesn't use it, though. Celery protected by the Crimson Guard in the meantime. The fight is splitting up. On the other side, they're kiting out the Void right now, Shad. Might think about turning around. They do bring down the Beast Bus. They get 2 split. BKB, Baranya will TP away. But now Io coming in with a relocation. Fada's the target. Would be the big one. They at least get Milan, but they want to find more for this. They're not able to, though. Shad used the BKB, but that's going to be all he gets. Or is it? Boom.
Good.
Skitter, toss back. He's way too deep now. Turn around with a stun, trying to move away. The kiss is off cooldown again. Shad needs to be careful. He doesn't have the BKB anymore, and Skitter's fighting up against Toby in the meantime. Shad is looking for Fada, but needs to be careful. The Scatterblast through to get him low. He has got the Time Walk to escape, and they're still chasing. They do manage to find that first life of Skitter, but now the Chrono down for the second one. Baranya trying to save this route. Will buy a little bit of time, but Skitter, separated from his team on the other side, will die off, and now they'll chase for looking for Fada. No detection right now. Will allow him to get away, but Baranya needs to be careful as well as Boom does have the combo. 20 seconds. Dust, they see them. Avalanche on the 2. The wraparound from Aramis is good. The stance comes out, but it's too late. He's in trouble. They're moving. The stun looks good from Fada to buy enough time. Reinforce coming for 33 as well. Throws out the prone roll on his Shad. Bring them low. Can they burst through him though? Io trying to save the day, but no, they can't get the time walk off. They'll lose the Io as well. Yes, they get Baranya, but the price is high for Vikin, and they're not done paying yet. No, this debt might last years. Boom, able to move away quick enough. 33 doesn't have the roar anymore, so they will disengage there and accept. Maybe we call this a draw because there was a lot of blood spilled on both sides.
Holy guacamole, that was a deep dive. They almost got Borania. They almost got all of them, but in the end they got them, but they paid a heavy price. As you said, the Void went down, the Io went down, the Underlord went down. It was so damn close. The Void was on like 50 HP, tried to time walk it off, but then just died to the Willow, and I think if the Void pressed his wand, he might have even lived there. He had a chance to charge his wand. Whew, close one.
The shoulda, woulda, coulda is like, boom. Shoulda you came to try get this rune. I mean, you do, and you're going to live because of Celery, but it's closer than you'd like it to be, and they're going to try and punish this, but Skid is far out.
These fights are messy. They're messy. Viking are trying their best at coming back here, and it's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad. They are making it happen. They are fighting despite a deficit. And this Void, late game, this Void will dominate this game. Like, if this game goes super late, the Void will be the king. Supplemented by the IO, by the Underlord, he will become a huge threat.
Man. First crown's been thrown out, the kisses as well. Toby realizes way too late he's just been baited into his own death. And Chad needs to be careful himself to do those kisses. Prime roll comes out. Boom! He jumped into the Fada. Big mistakes being made by the Tiny. Trying to run away with the haste read. He might just get away with this, but barely able to escape in time. The Orchid won't proc out. He is able to live. Milan is brought down, but my oh my, was that too close for comfort. And they kept Toby alive, most importantly.
Exactly. Toby got saved there perfectly by Celery. Relocated him out. Not totally out, just like 500 units back. Healed him up with a mechanism. And perfect play from Celery. And we're seeing why this hero is so banned so often against them. This guy is using his relocate to the max. His mech heals are on point. And damn, they are making it really hard for mudgolems. Even though the mudgolems played so damn well in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. They had a huge advantage going into this, I'd say, mid-game, but they have been just keeping it even since then, the Viking boys. Yeah, it's still 6k deficit, but they're just fighting so damn well, even though they have a deficit.
Of course, the big risk you do run into is if you keep this kind of pace and you get into that late game, yes, we'll forfeit this, isn't it? This is a Void Spirit. Not Void Spirit, sorry, Faceless Void. You can't underrate that. But the thing that Mudgolems could have going for them is this Wraith King and Nature's Prophet combo. We've seen it time and time again, especially when Baranya is on this hero. It's the emulation, really, of what we keep talking about Viking doing, right? Where the carry is actually the tank, and the mid is the true carry. But this Wraith King, the way he's scaling, they're going to have these 2+1s as you approach that late game situation.
Yeah, that is true. You have to admit this is true. The Heaven's Halberd is coming out. And this is a defensive measure against that Void. Why? Well, the Void doesn't even actually have an MKB. Most of the time, this hero rushes the MKB, but in this game, he decided he wants the Assault Cuirass, and because of that, the Wraith King is free to build that Halberd and just gain an insane amount of EHP. Oh, Toby.
He didn't get his ult off in time. The Prime Roar connected first, and they're charged up the Terrorize. They missed time it, though. Celery gets there to save the day. And now they need to move away quickly. Nice Yules to interrupt any Chrono from coming out, but the time dilation did clip onto Milan. And even that Kobold, there is no escape here. He's dead.
He's fucking dead. Nature's Prophet popped the BKB even. Holy smokes. The NP popped the BKB. That's huge. That was the 8-second BKB. Losing that for nothing feels bad. And Viking, man, they're looking good.
There's no way that Mudgolems want to take that fight either, because TP was on cooldown for Fada and he's stuck in that bot lane. So they never would have been able to bring full force to that fight. And I mean, it's a cute gamble, right, with that Terrorize. If you time that perfectly to get rid of Celery, you probably can burst Toby. But even then, it's a tight window to execute with there.
Yep, and their damage seems to be kind of lacking. The Mudgolems, they have good damage, yeah, but the defensive layers of Viking are huge. They got the IO healing things up, they got the Underlord with the Lotus, with the Crimson Guard, the Void has also...
And now they're going on a shot. This is ambitious, but the kiss is through. They're trying to force what they can out. BKB gets activated, moves to the back line, looking at Baranya, turns around. Chrono, 1-3, really big. Skinner's just being ignored in this fight. It's going to separate Celery away from his carry, but he'll be able to rejoin him in a moment. Fada trying to move away, Glimmer Cape will protect him. In the meantime, Toby goes in with the roots and controlling up the support and 33. 33 holding on to the Prime Roar, still on cooldown for 2 more seconds. He wants to throw it out, but they need to buy enough time. Disarm comes out. Io has relocated over to the location of the Faceless Void to stay connected to him. And Baranya trying to bring down Celery quick enough, but not able to stay on top of him. He's going to zone him away. They'll turn around. The stun control. Shad brought down. Dead for 70 seconds. Celery trapped in the trees, trying to run away as fast as he can, but that means they're leaving behind more sacrifices. The Boom is stuck in the middle of the mix with no hope of getting out in time.
God damn, that Snapfire was tanky as hell. 3-man Chrono coming out from a shot, but he wasn't able to kill Fata fast enough. Like, it took the whole Chrono and even seconds after that until Fata finally died. This hero is so damn tanky. 2k HP, Glimmer Cape ready, Craggy Code ready. He just lived through the entire Chrono and even longer. And now Roshan is up for Mudgolems. And this guy on Faceless Void is dead. And also has no Chrono. Tiny also dead. Not even a buyback ready. And this is a free Rosh.
Also, big credit to Skidder right? It looks like he's just being kited and he's doing absolutely nothing. But he identifies that Celery, if he's allowed to tether and get that overcharge, you probably do lose fodder in that fight. And then the next part of that fight, the outcome with that lack of additional stun, could favor Vikin.
True. Oh, Milan. This guy is going crazy, man. She's trying to, I don't know, go on high ground or something. But I guess after all, he's just creating space.
I mean, that's Willow for you, right? Like, it's this type of hero that is so chaotic that you can try and force mistakes at your opponents. But they decide no mistake happened here, so just move bot, look for that tier 2 now. Because we have got this Aegis to play with on Baranya, and he is looking pretty spooky about now. Halfway to a sheep stick already.
Oh. Yeah. Like, last time I looked at him, it was like, okay, he's close to Assault Curse. He was like 300 off. Now 1 minute later, oh, 2.5k in the bank. No problem at all. And with this Hex, he's actually able to solo kill that IO pretty easily. He's also able to kill that Void before he pops the BKB if he catches him solo. So this Hex will do a lot in pressuring the Viking boys in Milan now. Oh.
You know that if that's the only casualty, you're happy. They're going to try and move away with Skidder, and the dust was not... there's not enough. He's too fast.
Good pickup, though. 45 seconds of no Willow, and this can be the bottom tier 2 tower. If they get the bottom tier 2 tower, they can secure the outpost as well. Let's see if they try to push for it. They also might try to push for a team fight because they know Milan is down and the Faceless Boys has the Chrono. So they might even push for a team fight.
Well, I think it's safer to take this tier 2. The problem with taking that team fight directly is Baranya having that Aegis, of course. And, you know, Skidder essentially has his own as he is a Wraith King. And he's going to try and force the fight. He's coming in now. Sees Aramis. That's a good start and pick off. If he can bring it down quick enough, the Avalanche is fine enough time. Goes set to the Raffination Free. Almost kills off Aramis, though. Skidder, even over that first life, Kiss come out this time as well. The BKB. It means that Shaq can't hit just yet. Now he'll try and go for it. He's still on that Chrono, and Skidder stands his ground. Forcing them back and away. Celery needs to be careful about how he exits this fight. They do get in range to TP out. Aramis will just about make his escape as well.
Pretty good from Viking. They got the cheese. They didn't really spend much. Yeah, Dark Rift used, Macropyre used, but that's not the big cooldowns. The big cooldowns are the Chrono. And getting that cheese out of the Wraith King is important because we saw this Wraith King, pretty tanky, used the Halberd to live there, used the cheese to live there. This guy is hard to kill, but without the cheese, he has 1 life less, and that's perfect for the Void. Look at the Void. What's he going for? Satanic. Satanic. Man, this guy, whew. The status resistance against that stun on the Beastmaster, against the Hex from the Nature's Prophet. Very good status resistance game for this Void.
It's what he's lacking. It's why mudgolems need to play with some pace now in the next 2 minutes to ensure maximum value out of that Aegis before the Satanic is completed. And maybe even force him to save a buyback because you are playing on the Void side of the map. And if someone goes wrong there, you're talking about a situation where your whole base could be exposed. Moving in with the cookie control onto Toby. But the Silver Age hasn't arrived yet, so this wouldn't end very well if they tried to engage under the tier 2. And look at this wrap from Vikin trying to get round the back now. They're looking for him. Fodder is quick to get out of there. They do at least snipe the courier, but Skidder had already picked up his new shiny item.
Yeah, he did, and it's very shiny indeed. Silver Edge finished, Spider Legs also finished, so times of him being kited are kind of over because these Spider Legs just enabled him to hit pretty much anything he wants. Combined with the Silver Edge, he's just super mobile, and with the Invis, is Silent Predator indeed.
Even Toby can't feel confident pushing out waves now, because if you get Silver Edge into insta-stun before you can use any of your items, you're probably dead. 1+, that 1 extra hero and you're gone, basically, is the state of those fights for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty tanky with 40 armor. But
look at
yeah,
Skidder.
he can die. He can die.
Clunk. Toby stunned. Follow-up is incoming right now. Nice ice path to save the day from Aramis, though. He needs to be careful. Raffination was used. Some damage was done. Boom used his BKB as well.
Yeah, he jumped 33. Couldn't finish the job. The Glimmer Cape of Fata saved 33 there. And in the end, nothing really happened except Boom popping his BKB.
But yeah, Toby moment, right? Because the Aegis is about to expire. So if you couldn't find a pick there, you're now going to have to make secessions for Viking. You're going to have to give them a bit more space because that Chrono combo is there.
Yep. Oh, look at Borania, what he did. He didn't go for the Hex. He actually bought Daedalus. He was like, oh, boys, I need some damage. Hex, get me out of there. I need damage. Daedalus picking that up and hitting pretty hard right now. And it's a good pickup in the sense that they kind of lack damage. Oh, Milan going on.
He's got the lowest, though. They're just trying to force some reactions so they know where these heroes are. If they can force a mistake out of Vikin, you feel pretty good here. They did force the reload, though.
Yeah, but it's not that huge of cooldown. That's the deal. The cooldown really got very low, 75 seconds only. It's gonna be up soonish. And I feel like this Underlord has actually been scaling very, very well. Like, look at his items. Lotus Orb ready, Solar Crest ready, Crimson Guard ready, and these physical damage dealers on the Radiant side, Wraith King and Nature's Prophet, they're kind of lacking damage. Even with the data loss, of course, that bolsters his damage quite much. They kind of lack damage to kill those 3 tanky cores of Viking. You gotta admit, those are 3 tanky cores. Void, Tiny, and Underlord. With the IO behind them, it starts getting harder and harder to kill one of those cores. Now the Systemic on Void is complete, combined with the Titan Sliver. He's looking beefy.
Not to mention the extra sustain because the Paladin Sword's been sitting on Cellular this whole goddamn time.
Yep.
Making himself harder and harder of a kill, and you have to wonder if maybe he's going to consider picking up like a Ghost Scepter as soon as the Glimmer Cape's complete, just to ensure that he can never truly be eliminated in 1 or 2 seconds flat in these fights.
Exactly. And he's got almost 20 armor, 1.4k HP. Not too much, but most of the time enough to get out his mech, get out his wand, and maybe even the relocate. And he's been positioning himself really well. I think this IO has never really been caught, except when he tried to save people. Havoc Hammer, Minotaur Horn, the tier 4 items coming out, and those are always huge. Havoc Hammer on Wraith King, pretty sweet item. Minotaur Horn on Tiny, also pretty sweet item. So these tier 4 items always change how the game is played.
Yeah, I think most importantly that Havoc Hammer gives Skirra that extra chunk of damage he's kind of been lacking with this item build, right? Because that's admittedly a big part of why they built that dataless on the Nature's Prophet. It's becoming very clear, especially due to the Underlord and his passive, that the Skid is not really dishing out that much damage in his fights. That's why he is now going back for the BKB despite having that Silver Edge.
Yeah, he's getting controlled up. The Ice Path, the Dual Breath slow, the Tiny spells, the Underlord Pit. He's just being controlled, and the Havoc Hammer helps a lot. It gives him 48 extra damage, right click, and also this active 10 seconds cooldown, 50% slow, and like 400 magic damage. That's huge. This magic damage, a lot of people underestimate this Havoc Hammer, but I'm a big fan of this item. And Skeeter, he will do good things in those team fights. This item is brutal.
Ooh.
Oh, Shaco. Oh my god.
I mean, that's exactly what you needed, because that was the thing with Baranya's build here. He is a glass cannon, but now look at his health, 3.4k HP. Not an easy target to get through. Not to mention the fact he has 43 armor.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, 40 armor.
40, yeah, but he's probably gonna get the... oh no, he also already has the Assault Curse, but he went from 2.2k to 3.4k. So he more than 50% increased his effective HP right now. And he doesn't care about the mana. Like, this hero is probably the hero that cares the least about that reduced mana on that Shaco. So perfect item for him here. He's an insanely tanky beast. I don't think he dies in a chrono. I don't think he can currently die in a chrono if he pops his BKB. There's no way.
No, now you're in a situation where picking off Milan at the start of the fights is critical for Vikin. Or Farda, but honestly, out of the two right now, we've seen the one that's maybe feasible is Milan. Farda usually cheekily gets away from the Avalanche toss combo just in time.
Yeah, I mean, just look at him. 2k HP, over 20 armor, 36% magic res. This Snapfire is not being burst anytime soon unless Viking really commits heavy amount of their burst onto that post 5 Farda.
Which you'll only do in select situations where it's far on your side of the map, because the other worry is if you do that and there's a buyback on Farda and you commit too heavily, he will buy back, and you have to remember the range of kisses is pretty notable, which means you TP to one of those tier 2s and you're maybe still involved in the fight.
Yeah, exactly, and the huge issue is level 3 kisses coming up, and that damage is massive. Of course, Viking have BKBs on Void and on Tiny, but the rest, man, they're free to be shot at. And the
especially Aramis.
Yeah, like Aramis, only 2k. IO, we talked about 1.4k, not the greatest thing. Level 3 kisses kind of makes that hero die.
Yeah, he does have a lot of sustain. I mean, my big concern is Aramis because his defensive tool in this game, like he's trying to make up for 4-staff, but he's only beginning to work on that now, is this Ghost Scepter. And against Kisses, and last time I checked, Ghost Scepter not very good against magical damage.
No es bueno, amigo. That is 100% true. I really fear for the Viking heroes, but let's see. Milan, as we said, he is the most susceptible to being burst. What does he do? Well, Aeon Disc, because he's smart.
I kind of expected this as well. Like, this is more or less what you need on a Willow, right? You get your Blink, you get your Yules, you're content. Like, that is your solo pick-off potential. You still have this big control in the fights with your skill set. And Yules is good defensive or offensive. After that, like, I can't think of many heroes 2 items in that are so content and happy to go Aeon Disc. When I think, like, up the list, there's not many higher than Willow.
You just don't need that many items on that hero. I've seen people go Aghanim's, but that's of course well, we're winning pretty hard. Let's win some more choice. Oh, another Shaco. Huh. Who's gonna pick it up?
I don't know though, because these heroes aren't as good at using that item as the Nature's Prophet. Nowhere near as good.
Yeah, I feel like currently only Jakira or Underlord could even be illegible.
Oh, moving in.
Fada?
Fada's been found. Lemon Cape to get away, though. They don't want hard commit because the back line, they snipe out Celery straight away. He's gone. Skidder trying to move away. Turn around the disarm. Shad has to retreat for the moment. 33. Backing up because he did use that prone roar for that kill. Toby needs to be careful himself, though, about this and how the fight commences. Moving across 33, looking on his Shad, being kited out. The kisses come through as well. Toby in trouble. Macropie to try and protect him, but it's not good enough. No, Havoc Hammer saves his life. They get him out in time, especially with the toss away from Boom.
Oh my god, that was so close. That might have actually saved his life there. Io came into range to mech and heal him up. Super important buyback, because if Toby dies there, that might even be a Roche. But buyback from Celery ensures that Toby lives and makes that not that much of a disaster.
Makes you a big liability now, though, because that means you have no buyback if this backfires here. They did use the kisses, however, which Vikin says that's a good reason to go into the pit. And they've still got the Chrono as well, so they are the ones with the strength here.
Man, this
Void.
Void.
Coming. Fada. Suicidal moment. Throws Cookie around in the pit a little bit. Silence as well. They're just causing some anarchy, so they can't quite finish the Roche. And now Wraith King is going to be stunned up. They move across onto him. The BKB is being activated. Trying to fight up against his Boom's going to move away. Shad is holding on to his own BKB and the Chrono as well. Ready to throw it out here. There it is. Straight away on the Skidder. Trying to bring him down quick enough. They are stacked on top. But 33 has used the prime roar again. It is enough to keep Skidder up and healthy. Able to try and move away, but the stuns are coming out the way too much. Has to turn around against Shad. The crit's out. The slower the attack speed and the armor as well. Time Walk to set that off and move on top of Piranha. But he's still too tanky to deal with. They have to turn around to 33 instead. Terrorize from long range from behind Milan. The fear controlling the Shad. He gets out on the high ground with the Time Walk, but now the chase is on. Skidder moving forward, looking on to Toby next. The Curse Crown control on the Shad. Nice Time Walk to dodge it out with the Lotus to make sure they can't follow up on him. The disarms return in the meantime to Skidder. Now Vada needs to back away. Cookie forward, movement out, trying to get out by Toby. Maybe he makes it in time, is able to escape. But now with 3 members of your team dead, that means that Mudgolems have just got their hands on this Roche, and it's very nice of Vikin to warm this one up.
Good Lord, Skeeter, like, I don't know how long, but Void continuously hit him for like 30 seconds, and he couldn't kill him 2 times. It took him like 20 seconds to kill him 1 time, and then whoop, he just pops, and this guy hit him the entire damn team fight, but he just couldn't fucking kill him. And in the end, the supports from Viking died, and then the course couldn't stay in the fight anymore. Damn, that Wraith King is so beefy. Damn, he's got the Aghanims now as well from the Roche. I don't know if you've seen it. Probably have seen it, many viewers. Maybe haven't seen it yet, because that's quite a rare occurrence. But it's spooky skeleton and spooky ghost time. Next team fight.
Now, it's one of those moments where you wind your arms back as the Wraith King team, you put your sunglasses on. It's been a long, long time. But Aghanim's Wraith King is back in town, baby. If we die, we're taking you with us. Wrap around. Piranha getting behind on Toby here. Shad hasn't got the Chrono for 50 seconds. Needs to be careful. Silence down to Celery. He's gone. Prime Roar. They baited him in. Shad trying to move away with the Time Walk. Separates the fight. Toby able to TP away. They use control of the Cursed Crown of the Shad, though. Will stun him on the high ground. The kiss is coming through as well. They spot out Aramis. They're poking away at him. This friendly neighborhood dragon could be brought down. They're trying to keep him alive. The terrorist going to be held on to. Skitter's going to chase him. The stun does get returned on him in the meantime, though. Hammer to push him back. Cookie forward, and he's gone. Skitter gives over the first life. Buyback comes out from the Jakiro, trying to punish this, but the BKB Skitter trying to run away. The Bash Love is not there, so Shad cannot find the kill, and Skitter's able to escape.
Woo, this teamfight, man. These teamfights are so messy, and the Witness Shaco actually saved the Jakiro there for the first seconds he died in the end, but still, he was super tanky. I was like, why doesn't this guy die? Oh, it's the Witness Shaco, over 3k HP. Suddenly, pretty tanky hero, but in the end, Vikings, they couldn't really get anything out of that. They bought back the Jakiro, but they couldn't really get anything out of that. Mudgolems taking control of the map. The Wraith King looking good. Soon to be 25. Soon to buy another item. Probably putting away his Midas. And I don't see the damage coming out from Viking. The scaling just hasn't been there. Tiny, he should have had the Aghanims by now. Then they might have the potential to burst things in the Chrono, but so far, the heroes are just too tanky of the Radiant lineup. These two lineups, they're both incredibly tanky, but right now, the Radiant lineup seems to be impenetrable for Viking.
There's no easy target anymore. I mean, Milan, you see it. You see what he's doing, right? Yeah. He doesn't want to waste that Owen disc, so he's ready to unlock it the moment he gets pounced upon with heavy commitment.
Exactly. He wants to bait them in even further. So they hit him. He's like 40%, and then he's like, I got the Yunders.
Silence out of Toby. Primal Roar as well before he can react. A lot of damage being done here. They're bringing him low, and I'm not sure if he's going to be Uber out of this one in time. Looks like he might just get away with this, but that's way too close for comfort. And Celery gets baited in as a result. Io gets found. That's the more important one for them, and he has no buyback.
Wait, did he try to get Toby out of there?
Yeah,
he try to get Toby out of there? Oh my god.
They knew it as well. They understand. Like, this is the Viking mentality, right? They so often don't leave anyone behind. And Mudgolems, they've found the way to exploit that to the fullest.
Yep. Toby was like, hey, I'm fine now. What are you even doing there? I'm fine. He was like, oh, whoopsie. I think he made a poopy, and he did. 20 seconds on the timer. Milan going in there.
Shad holding on to the Chrono for the moment. They're going to try and force the BK out instead. They're going for Aramis with the kisses, though the Curse Crown as well. A lot of damage done. Toss to try and get him out, but he's dead. 95 seconds out, now the Chrono does go down, but look at that, the Axe effect, Skinner moves across in time, they'll still have an effect even after you kill them. Father's still alive, able to move away, Shad chases him forward, but he can't find it. Cookie up to the high ground, he survives, and all of a sudden, Shad's in a bit too deep, needs to make his escape. Time Warp's gonna come out, Skidder still being ignored. They turn around to Baranya, trying to bring him down. The Bash Love is there in favor of Shad, but Baranya hitting too hard, will be brought down. That's one life though, and the stuns from the Wraith King are good. They lock Toby in place, follow-up stuns, Primal Roar gonna be thrown out, control onto Underlord to try and bring down the Curse Crown follow-up as well. He can't get out of this. He's dead. 95 seconds on the sideline. He has got buyback, but he's holding on to it. They say, I challenge you, Mudgolems. Can you get on our high ground right now? And Baranya, he obliges.
By the way, 8k gold right now on that NP.
Money, money, money. What to do with the buyback's going to come out. Shad going in, but no Chrono. They're not that scared. Skidder reincarnate in 19 seconds. He's to buy at least 10 more seconds and he'll survive though. But can he? Gets him Viz in time. Toss back. They separate the fight. Baranya's in deep. He says, okay, I'll kill Celery instead. Turns on him right now. Terrorize being charged up. Covering Baranya's escape out of the base right now. There it is. Winded up. Brought through. Baranya in trouble. Extremely low. Is going to be picked off in time. They get Skidder out, but they pay a higher price. They lose the profit.
Holy oh. Shot still in pursuit, Skeeter. Invisible equals invincibility. Damn, these fights. But they're looking pretty decent for Viking. Like, this is a 28k lead. Yeah, but they are still fighting. They still got spirit into them. And they still have the possibility to take this.
That Underlord buyback is critical here, though. He cannot afford to go down anymore. Like, the damage reduction in that fight is the reason that Viking could stand despite this net worth advantage for Mudgolems. With these BKBs getting so short, that's where, like, anyone who's going, I don't get it. There's so much money on these heroes. Where is their damage? Like, half of it is just evaporating because of that passive.
Exactly. That Atrophy Aura, that Lotus Orb, that Solar Crest, that Crimson Guard, and now the Shiva's coming out. So this guy, he's growing tankier. He got even tankier compared to last fight, slowing the attack speed. And also the heal reduction shouldn't be overlooked because the Radiant team, they got a lot of heal going on. The Lifesteal from Wraith King, the Satanic from the NP, that's a lot of healing being reduced right now. So The Viking lineup, they got stronger since last fight. Also, level 25 talent is there for the Underlord. So they are getting stronger. It's not like they're capped already. Shot also picking up the butterfly component probably. Or no, he's saving buyback. He's saving buyback. Probably the most responsible thing to do.
He has to keep buyback. Toby doesn't have to because he's already committed it. So you just need that Shiva's power boost, as there's going to be a fight before you have buyback again. But then you look on the other side, of course, 33 is getting close to that level 25, and this inner beast attack speed with this lineup, it doesn't sound like much. Measly 20, but we've seen how much damage these two can do, and they need every little piece of attack speed they can squeeze into those BKB timings.
Exactly, but look at Boom. He's got the Aghanims finished right now, and there's a DD rune on bottom.
Oh, and only one team sees it. It's Vikin.
Oh,
but
I think Tiny should take it.
They need a bottle.
Yeah, he's got it. Oh my god, this is gonna be some Dota being played still. 27k lead, I don't care.
I mean, it's a lot of armor to get through on the cores, but the supports are incredibly vulnerable to a bunch of trees being thrown in their face.
Exactly. And the thing is, look at the buyback status. Press the I button, and you see, holy moly, that's 7 no's. And 7 no's ensure that this is going to be a fiery battle.
2 yeses to the 1, but Vikin have one of the most important buybacks available. It's that IO. He can get back into these fights at the reload, and that could turn things around, which is why, if you're mudgolems, you take the assured kill, the one you know about, which is that Underlord, if he ever peers his head out too far.
Wait a second, shot, sold power threads, finished the butterfly, and so far, they have the true strike. Raking is the MKB, Nacetroll has the Bloodstone, so the butterfly doesn't actually do that much, and him spending the buyback for that, that's an offensive move.
Also, not having boots in this type of game, if you don't get a great chrono, it doesn't matter that you've got time walk. You might think it's that great, but these heroes have already proven in previous fights they can kite you, and they can also chase you.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, he's going for full fighting mode. He's like, if I stand my ground, fight that Wraith King, I want to have maximum power. That's what his item is saying right now.
Also, important thing, I'm pretty sure recently Silver Edge got a tweak so that it does break, or backtrack rather got, so the break applies on backtrack.
I think, that's what it did, and that's also a huge nerf to face this Void in this specific situation, because the Silver Edge is there. By the way, no boots in Skeeter as well, because he's got the spider legs. No need for boots.
There's no way he's trading it in. Maybe on tier 5 or contemplate it when you're talking about boots of travel territory, but for the time being, he's content. He has queued up the Abyssal next, and at that stage, you're at maximum power as this Wraith King.
Yeah.
Checking on the Roche. Still 10 seconds to go, and that Courier in there means that mudgolems will know instantly. Well, they actually broke the smoke as well.
Oh, he spawns in 5 seconds. He spawns in 5 seconds. Radiant, they see it instantly, while the Viking boys, they are not seeing it.
But they won't move away. This is the problem. They're going to try and stay here as long as possible. There is one concern, which is Baranya. This is the global element. He can show up in the spot lane, push out. Of course, you do have an Underlord, but the arrival in these fights is not as quick.
Exactly. And then NP, he's got a level 25 talent, which means that he is everywhere at the same time. Smoke coming out for them.
Toby breaks it. He's going to be broken himself. Lurst just in time. Ice Path on the skid of the Magpie as well. Now they're going to try and jump the back line. The Hex comes out onto Tiny. He can't find a target in time. BKB from Skidder to run away. Doesn't want to go down. There's Cookie to try and get out, but no. They catch him with the trees. That's the first life on the Chrono. They're going to go for the second one. Terrorized, but they've got the BKBs to protect themselves. Skidder going to be brought down and out. He has got the buyback. He has got the Axe. So he can buy a little bit more time to do something in this fight. But let's chase the corner 33. Use the Minotaur Horn. In the meantime, Celery or daughter brought down. Kisses, finds the kill. Toby now in trouble himself. Needs to be careful. Ticking into a lot of his health here with that magical damage. Buyback will come out onto Skidder. They're still chasing, looking for more. They do see for Baranya, but Shan has used that Chrono already. BKB from Baranya trying to move away. Hope he had to do so. Need to be careful to turn around. The Kiss gets him in with the Axe from the farthest Snapfire. We'll find the dieback onto the Io. The Primal will follow up on the Shadows. Well to control him up this time as well, so he can't even fight back. Time Walk to try and turn around. We'll be able to bring one down. 2 as well, make that. The effect is looking good, but no, this Axe from the Wraith King might allow them to fight back, but for how long? They've lost. That's the dieback on Skidder. Baranya goes down as well. Holding on to his buyback in the meantime. Vada is going to fall. He's going to be gone for a long time. 120 seconds, but has buyback. They won't be able to find more, but they might be able to find Roche. And with Skidder gone for 110 seconds, Vikin just got one hell of a big gift horse.
Holy smokes, this gear guy, he died 2 times, and the time dilation. Like, he died, his ult procced, he died again, his reincarnation was running, like his ghost was running around. After the ghost, he bought back, he went into the fight, but then the time dilation just slowed the cooldown of his ult that, like, so insanely much that he couldn't even reincarnate after his buyback. He died so quickly that he couldn't reincarnate, and he diebacks in this situation. And I feel like Viking can, like, this is rapier territory. Where they get a rapier.
That's the Anarchy of late game Dota, right? Like, that move, Skidder understands his timing because he has the Aghanims, complete backfires, the time dilation you mentioned. Now the buyback is coming out. They're holding on the glyph because they understand there is a potential for Viking to go just straight for the throne. 2 lanes is what you can afford, because the thing about this is if Viking only get 2 lanes and have to back away, mudgolems could be up in time to contest the Roche.
Yeah, that's true. And the tier 2 is standing. Without this tier 2, that would have been mega. But tier 2 saving their asses, literally. But Roshan, man, that's gonna be a huge one. Aghanims is there, Refresher Shard is there. And I think this shot Void, he's pretty happy about it. An Aghanims. Oh, and a Refresher. I think this guy's pretty happy about that.
I think that's what has kind of been lacking in the second part of these fights. So it won't take him long to get that. And Mudgolems, they have no way contesting this either. Still 10 seconds till Wraith King is up. They only have 1 tier 2 to TP to. They'll have to give it over. The Viking, I mean, they've been patiently waiting, but the comeback is in motion here as that network will now start to swing towards even. And as a result, into the favor of Viking.
Yep. Shot taken up. That Aegis is long. Oh, he has buyback actually, still choosing the Aegis. And the Refresher Shard is on Aramis actually. Huh. I mean, double Macropyre also sounds pretty sweet. Double Ice Path, also nice. And the issue with Shard is, he doesn't really have that many item slots. Oh, actually? Oh, no, he's got the Refresher. Okay. I was wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good on Jakiro, but it's gotta be on Shard, and he takes it.
You basically, you BKB, you Chrono, and then if they take the Aegis away, you switch in the Refresher and you BKB Chrono again.
Exactly, that's what you want to do. I mean, sometimes it can happen that you can get permastunned after respawning, but with a Satanic, that's unlikely to happen. Oh, by the way, Arcane Rune picked up by Shot, and his data is also coming. Like, I don't know what exactly is going to happen with these slots, but yeah, he's
gonna have to do some inventory shuffling right now. It's like, what does the Void truly need? I mean, I've already identified boots of Lamos, so I got rid of those. But
yeah, I mean, Midas of Lamo at minute 5:55. You don't need it anymore, I guess. And well, game is starting to become one of those games where the tier 5 items aren't too far away.
Oh, and look at Skitter, by the way. The shift in priority here. The Refresher. He realizes the only way he can play this game now is that.
Yup. And this is the issue that Hero has in the late game. Look at Shad. He's just perma-bashing the Wraith King. Like, you cannot fight if you're perma-bashed. And that's the issue of this hero against Void. In the late game situations, you just get bashed. In the late game situations, this time lock spell is just king of man fighting.
Let's see how it functions in the next fight. Shad is charging in the high ground with the haste, straightforward and Skitter, but changes his mind.
Who needs boots, by the way, when you've got a haste rune?
Of course. I mean, the haste is going to run out soon, but you know, he's always got those time warp bashes to get in and out. Check it all about. And Baranya around the back is farming right next to his opponents. The ward just spotted him out. The pings are coming in as well. Baranya, BKB needs to TP out. Might force the Chrono, and they'll commit it right down to Baranya. They do it. Celery's going to arrive to ensure that they can find the kill quick enough. And they'll have to accept that. They're like, okay, but Aranya at least has buyback, and that is a Chrono used, but they don't have that Refresher still.
Yeah, the thing is, how do they defend the barracks? They might be able to defend their heroes, but they can't defend the barracks, because to defend those barracks, they have to commit something, but they can't really commit anything, because they have to commit everything for a team fight. They can't commit anything on trying to defend that side of Rex.
They're going to be forced
BKB.
to use the BKB on Shad, but they'll just back away again. That's the tower out of the way. They'll just take this at its own pace, piece by piece. But the longer you take, the quicker that time it comes to Nature's Prophet. Shad, he hasn't actually got mana for the Chrono right now. But of course, he does have that Aegis. So jump on Skidder straight away, trying to force out that buyback. But composure from mudgolems is going to be there now. They terrorize as well to control up on the Shad. They need to lock him down permanently to bring him down, but they can't. And now the Ice Path Macropire turnaround. Skidder getting low. Able to move away, but the root's going to be there. He's going to tick down. That's the first life gone.
Man.
And they might just look to perm bash him up. The Prime Roar's going to come out. Really free able to move away in the meantime with the match community, but they do get rid of the Aegis. That's one life down, but now he has the mana for the Chrono. And the BKB is available, so Shad has to be very careful about how you approach this, man. Looking to end this game through Mega Creeps. They will secure that, but that won't be enough to sink Mudgolem's ship just yet. They need a convincing victory to crush their hopes in this game too.
Woo! And I mean, Chrono is up. They got everything they need. Okay, Macropire is down. All right, Macropire is down. So, yeah. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet just went to the secret shop, picked another item up, and wow, he I don't know, like
he's capped.
He has
now.
so many slots, but yeah, he's capped, and he's here just in minute 60 is You're still strong. You can still split push, but what do you do to face this void? He's like 8 slotted or 7 slotted. I don't know, man.
I'll tell you what you do. You go farm some new neutral items. Gaben shows how much he loves you, and then you have enough to murder this faceless void. That's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need the right items, and that's territory we're getting to.
Desolator 2.
I don't think you can drop that with a Shaco.
I mean, full offense, I guess, but well, let's see what happens. Skeeter going for Toby.
I'll bring him low, toss him away, get out of the base, looking to move back in. We'll be able to get through as well. The cooking the BKB is enough, but now you don't have a BKB anymore. Root's going to be there as well. Skinner needs to be very careful. He does have the reincarnate to work with. Hex comes out, though. He went pretty deep on Shad. Needs to be careful. BKB gets forced out. Chrono committed on the Skinner, trying to bring him down quick enough, but they can't actually protect him. Prime Roar buys a little bit of time, but Skinner is going to be brought down. He's going to move away. Looks to turn around and throw out a stun before it's the end of the world. Fada wants to spin him in. Going to use him to the maximum effect. Celery brought down, melted through and dead. 100 seconds without your Wraith King, though. Doesn't have buyback available in 15 seconds, which means Vikin have to be very careful here. Celery doesn't have his buyback just yet. It's coming off cooldown as well. 33 chased on 2 next. It's going to be ran through and killed off. The hunt for more. They're able to find them. Fada, Baranya, both brought down as well. The only one left is Milan. They're thinking about TPing out here because they're a little bit scared of the buybacks that are coming off cooldown. Milan fuels up. Buyback comes out from Skidder. Chasing forward on the Shad. Buyback is going to be there from the IO, though. And Vikin are looking to end this game right here. The damage is way too much for the Wraith King. And as a result, Vikin should be able to run through and get the victory in this second game to take it 2-0 and put Mudgolems on the edge of the abyss.
Performance by Vikings. They were so far behind in the mid game. It really looked like Mudgolems would bring this series back to a 1-1, but in the end, this Toby Underlord was just impenetrable for them. He had like what, 60, 70 armor. This Toby Underlord controlled the hell out of the Wraith King, out of the NP, out of the Beastmaster. This Underlord with a 420 stats. Man, what an MVP performance. Look at the damage dealt. 76k damage dealt by Toby. He was the true boss in this game. Look at his damage received. Man, this Viking lineup, they were just unkillable in the end. They were just unkillable. Look at those items. Underlord, what items does he have? Solar Crest, Lotus Orb, Shiva's Guard, Crimson Guard, Octarine Core, Spell Prism. Like, holy smokes, he was an insane monster. That game, that late game, often you say, well, Underlord, late game, he kind of falls off because he doesn't do anything against BKBs. But, well, what can you say? This guy was so fat, he just tanked through the BKBs and then destroyed that Wraith King, that Nature of that Beastmaster. And holy smokes, Viking 2-0 against a team that I think 90% of the people viewed as heavy favorites going into this.
Yeah, like this is the thing. Mudgolems have looked nigh on unstoppable really overall, but Viking, they had that hit into the lower bracket and then they've clearly turned it around quickly. They've adjusted, they've identified this, and in these late game fights, you can see how composed they are, even in the face of utmost anarchy. And that's the impressive part. Like you said, Toby, a hero that we were worried was becoming a liability, almost cost his team the game when he had to buy back in that situation. They played defensive for several minutes, ends up being so definitive to their victory. And Mudgolems, I mean, this is the rough feeling. Like, we saw the graphs, we saw the spiral that this game was. It's gonna take a big motivational speech from Fada to pick yourself up, because you are now 2 games down. And we see this time and time again. When you get a close second game like that, it can be crushing. Because you can taste defeat before having it snatched away from you. It's like me offering you the best goddamn pizza New York has to offer. And then just as you're about to munch your teeth into it, I just snatch it away or I slap it out of your hands. And mudgolems, they definitely show that they can turn up. They definitely show they can fight. But Vikin proving that they're the ones to beat here, as we're now 2-0 in favor of Vikin. This could end up just being the Team Secret effect without Team Secret even being in the tournament. And it would be kind of fitting considering the team that kind of got the rise to fame off beating Team Secret were to do that to mudgolems. But we're speculating. We're excited. I'm buzzing. Even in a 3-0 situation, this series is already delivering. But we're hoping it's not going to be 3-0. We're hoping we can get more Dota out of this. We're hoping that maybe mudgolems can show us that at least they can take a chunk out of Vikin before falling into a grave. We'll have to see which way it's going to go, though. Hit you up with a break, return in a few minutes, get your monster can refilled by picking another one out of the fridge, and then get back to watching some sweet-ass Dota.